What's up YouTube? This is your boy G back in another video, and today is going to be an interesting day. We're plunging back to Elden Ring. Now this is the Elden Ring DLC, Shadow of the Erdtree, and our very first video is just to show you, kind of like guide the newbies like me, or the people that is going back right to the DLC after 2 years from the primary Elden Ring game, for some tips and tricks on how to do stuff, because Elden Ring is not difficult, right? I will tell that right away. I think all of the FromSoft games aren't really difficult. It's just uh, not clear, right? I will put it that way. It's just not clear, and it's going to give you a lot of troubles, and it will of course be difficult because of that, right? It's like you're playing a normal game, but on a normal game it's gonna tell you where to go first. This is like for level 40, level 50, but on Elden Ring you can just go to level 50 right away, even though you're still level 1. So it's up to you to figure out your strategies, essentially. So on this video I'm just gonna show you real quick what are the things that you can do first on the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. What are the things that are kind of important to do first before you really plunge fighting boss and whatnot. Alright, very first thing that you're gonna do is of course grab the graces, right, as much as possible, so that you can have some kind of like saving point, right, checkpoints. But then the very important thing that you're gonna do is to upgrade your stats. Essentially, this is not like the base stats on the Elden Ring core game, so you do have something special on this DLC Erdtree. So I'm gonna show you real quick here. The very first thing that I find is here. This is a tip. If you see a glowing guy with a pot on the head like this, make sure you kill him right away before he throws the pot, or you got thrown out, right, or killed by those dogs and others. Because that pot, that's why it's glowing, right, this is why the person's glowing, is containing a very valuable stuff that will increase your attack and your defense by 5% in every upgrade. So let me just kill this guys here, and this is the stuff. Please let me pick it up. Alright, I'm going to pick it up here after this. Alright, so Erdtree fragment. So as you can see on the right side, it says Erdtree fragment. Now you only got one from this pot from this people, but every two of this will upgrade it, will upgrade your stat once. And there are 50 Erdtree item, right, Erdtree things like this scattered, right, no pun intended, scattered on the Shadow Realm. So that will give you in total of 100% increase in attack and defense, right, damage negation, because every upgrade will give you like 5% additional 5% increase. So in net it's gonna give you like 100%. Now take note on this kind of like grace where you see a cross, right, like this Michaela's cross, and the first time that you visit them you will also see that Erdtree blessing. So make sure you find all of those crosses and then get this Erdtree blessing right away. I believe there's also one here on the bridge, so just let me just run here real quick and show it to you. Alright, so you will see it right away past the bridge. This will be the Erdtree fragment. Again, two of this will give you an upgrade. Will give you an upgrade, and then you can upgrade that here, on the grace, powering up your attack and defense. Again, each upgrade will give you 5% attack and damage negation. As you can see, there's like Shadow Realm blessing there. You just go there and upgrade it. And then 5% damage negation and 5% attack increase. This is crucial in order to survive in DLC, because they're like, even you're level 300 already, when you go to the DLC, the enemies, even the normal mobs, will treat you like level 1, right? So the damage will be nuts, right? So it's like, it's almost like it's not recognizing the base game. This DLC is almost what I call this, like separate entity from the DLC. So even if you're like level 300 or level 1 on the primary game, on the DLC you're all level 1. So it's just looking on the Erdtree blessing. If you don't have those, you will appear like naked almost. Alright, so as you notice, there's another cross there, and this is the very first time that we're gonna approach this. And as soon as you hit that, it should have the Erdtree blessing as well. Erdtree fragment. Alright, my next tip is pretty weird, but it's extremely useful. Turn your brightness up, because this game is hella dark, and don't forget to use your lantern at times. So you do have lantern, remember, in the Elden Ring, and as you can see, and if you don't use that, you might miss some things, right? You might miss enemies, you might miss items or pathways, right? Or most especially cliff, right? You might fall. So make sure you turn the brightness up a little bit, in adequate, brightness, and use your lantern all the time. All right, next tip. If you see this little worm with the face of pretty weird, even hair on the top, do not attack them. They're just chill, right? They're not really attacking. They're just docile. But as soon as you attack one, all of them will be hostile, right? They will attack you, and you're probably gonna be dead. Especially if, again, you're not upgrading your Erdtree blessing. So let me just save it real quick, and I will show you what I'm talking about. So look at this, bam, and they're gonna be like ugly AF. So yeah, if you're in the middle of that, and again you're very low in health or whatever, you might die right away. So just a little tip, do not attack those little worm weird things. All right, next up, if you see some gravestones that are glowing weirdly like this, make sure you approach it and grab the item on it. This is pretty important. This is essentially the larval tier that you're going to use to respec, right? So in order to reset your stats and your specs. So yeah, glowing tombstones, gravestones, and as soon as you pick it up, it's just going to glow as normal as others. Next up, you still have the same upgrade method that you have on the OG game or base game. So do not forget to explore and grab all the stones that you can get, such as this ancient dragon smithing stone, which is pretty important, right? This is extremely limited on the actual game. So make sure you explore first before you fight boss. That's really important, right? I couldn't really stress that enough. Explore the open world first, as if it's gonna be like on the back of your head, like you memorize the place, every nook and crannies that you're gonna see, or you're gonna see in the map. Explore them before you plunge into the boss fight, because if you go to the boss fight right away without really exploring things, you might complain that it's too difficult, right? Because you're not prepared. You might have a missing item or a talisman or something, especially for DLC, right? You probably missed something that they require, or they kind of like want you to use, right? Especially like new weapons and things like that. And you just go to the boss directly because you want to prove a point, and you will then complain that it's super difficult. Elden Ring, again, is not a difficult game. It's a game for strategy, right? You have to think, you have to build, you have to respec, you have to strategize what weapon you're going to use and things like that. So you have to explore the open world first before fighting a game. I mean, that's why it's open world, right? It's not linear. Alright, next important tip from me. Again, this is a DLC, right? An expansion from the base game. So you already are powerful on the base game. You already acquired a lot of stuff. Make sure you use those stuff, right? Such as your projectiles and your power-ups, your incantation like this, right? So those nasty bursts are far, but they typically go in a pack. And if you just like do nothing but melee, right, thinking that we're powerful, you know, melee, you're gonna die again and again because you're just gonna pick them up in pack instead of just throwing this incantation or whatever that you have from previous bosses that you already fought, right? Again, that is what Elden Ring is for: fighting a boss, obtaining a really great power up after that, weapon, power, ash, or whatever, so they can do the same to others, right? So it's not gonna be easy, but it's gonna be fun. Let me show it to you, because of course you can just do the jump attack and slash and again, but that's gonna be boring. But if you use a combination of stuff, right, with your build, right, depending on your build, your magic or whatever. Me, I'm a, you know, my strength, dex, and I think a little bit of faith here. So you know, you're using a couple of stuff, physical, and then this ability, right? That's still Rivers of Blood, by the way, is still amazing in this game, but there will be a lot of other weapons for you to choose. But I just want to quickly show you how it's done. So you know, you can do those to crowd control, right? The swarm flies, and then you can put some buff on yourself. You can attack using a lightning spray, and everything that you gain or obtain from previous base game, you can make use of them, right? Don't forget them, because this is a DLC, that's an expansion, and it's just gonna be a waste if you don't use those things that the devs created for us. If you probably forgot, stealth is still big in this game, or not really, you know, stealth, but just be quiet, right? So you can crouch, you can use the talisman to mute your footprints or footsteps, or you can just crouch like this and move really carefully, and then make sure you grab all of those smithing stones that you can get. And look at this, if you're just crouching and now waking up a lot of enemies that are just super lazy sleeping on this DLC, then you're gonna be golden, right? You don't want to go to a situation that you're just gonna be ambushed and die again. So use crouch if necessary, or if you don't really need to fight the mobs, you know, you're just getting like an item or something, and that will save your ass big time. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. So somewhere, you know, or again, a lot of places here, there are people like this, but they're just so dumb. As you can see, they're not hostile, they're not moving. Look at this. I think is sleeping, right? Because the eyes are closed. So use your backstab, right, or you know, stealth and then backstab for this kind of like people, and gain their souls, right? So don't ignore them, because we'll be inclined to like outrun or just run away from a lot of enemies, because they're just not boss, or they're just giving small amount of souls. But get them, those are currency, right? That is the money, and if you get a lot of those, you'll be able to buy a lot of stuff, right? No armors, power up, whatever. So especially for the DLC. So make sure you take advantage of this sleeping guards or dumb enemies around. We have a lot of like this in the DLC for free kills. Okay, next up, I think this is a bit important, right? Take advantage of the targeting system. So as you can see, I'm backstabbing those like what I did earlier. They're just like dumb, not really hostile. But one big part as well for newbies, right, or for starters, are the targeting, the enemy targeting. There are a lot of hidden enemies like this one, and if you just rush directly, you'll be attacked blindly, right? Ambush. So use Erdtree like this, and as you can see, it's gonna target even the hidden enemies. So you can just throw projectiles on them like this, incantation or bow and arrow or whatever. Alright, let's just be prepared for them. so that you're not gonna be caught in surprise or whatever, right? Again, that's Erdtree, target lock. Whenever you enter like a space with no visible enemies. Next one, of course, there's a scattered tree blessing, right? But there's also ashes for summons. So this one, it's also scattered around the open world. It's revered spirit ash. So look for this and use this to upgrade your summons as well. You can also do that via the grace. Exactly the same thing as the scattered tree blessing. Lastly, again, just to for starting the DLC, you will see this boss pretty quickly on the DLC because they're just there. It's just sitting right next to you. But do not fight this right away with whatever you've got, right? Or at least going back to the Elden Ring, because again, Elden Ring base game has been 2 years ago already. So you're probably not super used to the controls and everything. And again, get as much as a scattered tree blessing as you can first to be a little tougher, right, for this one, because this boss is pretty nuts. If you fight him initially, it's gonna kill you. Even a single attack will absolutely obliterate your life there. I don't know if you can see it here, but if I'm damaged, it's nuts, right? I already had a couple of scattered tree blessing here, probably 4 or 2. But yeah, just don't fight this boss quickly in the game and look for upgrades, right? So in summary, just a quick one. Again, this is just for starting out the field in the DLC, because I started up and straight from 2 years ago in Elden Ring. I think, yeah, that was 2 years ago. So it's a little bit strange, right? The control, I'm not used to it anymore. I'm playing a lot of other games, so you'll have to get familiarized again. And then in the movement, once you get the momentum, once you get your juju, you're gonna get back on track. I'm still using River of Bloods. I haven't really found any better weapon yet, or at least I haven't tried yet. But there will be a lot of weapons, right? As I discover things, I will absolutely share more. But for now, this is just like an easy, right, introductory to the DLC to make it a little bit fun, a little bit easier for you, because the DLC is pretty intimidating if you approach it incorrectly. Right? Again, Elden Ring game is not hard. I want to emphasize on that one. It's just not clear, and that's what's making it hard, right? You can fight this boss pretty quickly in the game without really understanding a lot of things yet, a lot of other prerequisite per se. But fight little things first, climb your way, toughen up, get good, right, in order to win the game. If you do all of those, Elden Ring DLC will absolutely be a blast, because this game is just really fun to play. But that's all for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Stay safe and see you on my next one.